Did the Cowboys just pull off one of the biggest trades in franchise history? Reports are swirling that Dallas could be closing in on a blockbuster deal for Maxx Crosby, a move that would instantly transform the defense. Some fans believe this is exactly the elite edge rusher the Cowboys have been missing, while others question whether the price is simply too high. Is this deal actually done, or is there more happening behind the scenes than we've been told? If Crosby really is headed to Dallas, this changes the balance of power in the NFC overnight. Cowboys Nation, if this one actually goes through, we are talking about one of the biggest defensive moves in franchise history. I'm not exaggerating. The Dallas Cowboys are suddenly being linked to a blockbuster trade involving one of the most feared pass rushers in the entire NFL, a guy offenses literally build their game plans around, a guy who plays every snap like his hair is on fire. Maxx Crosby to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Maxx Crosby. Silver and black superstar. Raiders defensive monster. Potentially wearing the star. And the craziest part is, this rumor is not coming out of nowhere. Over the past few days, league insiders, Cowboys connected media voices, and multiple NFL circles have started buzzing about Dallas aggressively exploring elite defensive talent via trade instead of waiting around in the draft or bargain shopping in free agency. The Cowboys know exactly where this roster is strong and where it is missing that one final piece. They have playmakers. They have stars. They have a quarterback under massive pressure to win now. And what they do not have is a relentless, every down, nightmare edge rusher opposite Micah Parsons who can completely destroy an offense's protection plan. That is where Maxx Crosby enters the conversation, and once you really break it down, this move starts to make scary levels of sense. Let's talk about who Maxx Crosby actually is, because if you only know him by name, you might be underestimating how dominant this guy truly is. Crosby is not just a sack artist who shows up once every few weeks. He is an engine. He is a tone setter. He leads the league year after year in pressures, quarterback hits, and total snaps played by an edge defender. He plays hurt. He plays tired. He plays angry. Offensive coordinators lose sleep over him. Tackles dread lining up across from him. He is the type of defender who changes games even when he doesn't get the sack, because the quarterback never feels comfortable. Now imagine that guy lining up on one side while Micah Parsons lines up on the other. That is not fair football. That is nightmare fuel. The Cowboys defense under Dan Quinn has already been one of the most aggressive units in the league, but there have been moments, especially in big games, where the pass rush gets neutralized when teams commit extra attention to Micah Parsons. We have all seen it. Chips, double teams, quick throws, moving pockets. When Micah gets slowed down, the entire defense loses its bite. Adding Maxx Crosby instantly fixes that problem. You cannot double both of them. You cannot slide protection both ways. Someone is getting home. Every single snap. Now here is where things start to get really interesting. The Raiders are at a crossroads as a franchise. New direction, new leadership, uncertain quarterback situation, and a roster that might be further away from contention than ownership wants to admit. Maxx Crosby is the heart and soul of that team, but he is also one of their most valuable assets. If the Raiders decide that a soft reset, or even a full rebuild is coming, trading Crosby at peak value could bring in a massive haul of picks and young players. Dallas, on the other hand, is firmly in win-now mode. The clock is ticking. The expectations are sky high. And Jerry Jones has never been shy about swinging big when he smells the championship window. Sources close to the situation suggest that Dallas has been quietly monitoring Crosby's status for months. This isn't a random Madden trade idea. This is something that front offices do when they believe one player can push them over the top. The Cowboys have draft capital. They have young defensive talent that could interest Las Vegas. They also have the cap flexibility to restructure deals and make something like this work if they truly want to. And from Crosby's perspective, joining a contender with a dominant defense, national spotlight, and Super Bowl expectations is not exactly an unattractive option. Now let's talk about the rumored framework that has fans losing their minds. While nothing is confirmed, The type of package being discussed around the league would likely involve multiple high draft picks, possibly a first-rounder plus additional picks or a young defensive player. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but elite pass rushers do not grow on trees. When you get a chance to acquire one in his prime, teams pay the price. And for Dallas, those picks are only valuable if they turn into impact players. Maxx Crosby is already that guy. No development needed. No projection. You plug him in and your defense immediately becomes one of the most feared in football. Imagine the ripple effect this would have across the entire Cowboys defense. Micah Parsons suddenly sees more one-on-one opportunities. DeMarcus Lawrence gets better matchups and more rest. The interior defensive line benefits because quarterbacks cannot step up in the pocket. The secondary gets more time to make plays. Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland become even more dangerous when quarterbacks are forced into rushed throws. This is how elite defenses are built. One move elevates everyone. Of course, there are critics who will say this is too risky. They will say Dallas should build through the draft, protect their future, and avoid blockbuster trades. But let's be real for a second. The Cowboys have been drafting well. They have been developing talent. And yet, the playoff results have not changed. At some point, you have to acknowledge that playing it safe has a ceiling. Championship teams take calculated risks. They identify a weakness and attack it aggressively. And the Cowboys' biggest weakness in the biggest moments has been getting consistent pressure when it matters most. There is also the emotional side of this rumor that cannot be ignored. Cowboys fans have been starving for a move that sends a clear message to the league. Not a depth signing. Not a mid-round pick. A move that says Dallas is done being comfortable. Maxx Crosby in a Cowboys uniform would be that message. It would instantly shift how opponents view this team. It would dominate sports talk. It would energize the locker room. And it would put the pressure squarely on everyone to deliver. Now, let's address the big question everyone is asking. Is the deal actually closed? As of right now, nothing is official. No announcement. No press conference. But here's what makes this situation different from typical rumor noise. The consistency of the reports. The timing. And the fact that Dallas has been unusually quiet while these rumors gain traction. When teams want something dead, they usually shut it down fast. When they stay silent, it often means conversations are happening behind the scenes. Another layer to this story is the coaching fit. Maxx Crosby thrives in aggressive schemes that let him attack. That is exactly what Dallas runs. He would not be asked to change who he is. He would be unleashed. Dan Quinn loves versatile, high-motor defenders who can line up anywhere and win. Crosby checks every box. This would not be a gamble on scheme fit. This would be a perfect marriage. Financially, yes, Crosby carries a big contract, but elite talent costs elite money. The Cowboys have navigated bigger cap challenges before. Restructures, extensions, creative accounting. If the front office believes this is the missing piece, the money will not stop them. Jerry Jones has never been afraid of paying stars. He is afraid of missing windows. Let's also talk about the psychological impact on the rest of the NFC. Philadelphia. San Francisco. Detroit. All of these teams would immediately have to adjust their plans against Dallas. Game plans that already revolve around Micah Parsons would suddenly become far more complicated. That matters in January. That matters when margins are thin and every advantage counts. Some fans worry about giving up too much, but ask yourself this. If the Cowboys land Maxx Crosby and make a deep playoff run or reach the Super Bowl, does anyone care about a future first-round pick? Flags fly forever. Windows close fast. Opportunities like this do not come around often. At the end of the day, this rumor represents something bigger than just one player. It represents a potential shift in mindset. Aggressive. Unapologetic. All in. Cowboys Nation has been waiting for that energy. Waiting for that moment when the front office says enough is enough. We are not settling. We are swinging. Whether this deal gets finalized or not, The fact that Maxx Crosby to Dallas is even being seriously discussed tells you everything you need to know about where this franchise believes it is right now. They believe they are close. They believe one move can change everything. And if that move happens to involve one of the most relentless defenders in football, the rest of the league better be ready. So keep your eyes open. Watch the news. Because if that notification pops up saying Maxx Crosby is officially a Dallas Cowboy, the balance of power in the NFC shifts instantly. And Cowboys Nation, you already know what time it is if that happens. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want instant updates the moment this story develops, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for non-stop Cowboys coverage, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you give up the picks for Maxx Crosby? Is this the move that finally puts Dallas over the top? Let's talk about it.